Alright, y'all, welcome back to episode 3 of First Draft Diaries. So today we're not going to be talking about Alfred Pennyworth or Pirates of the Caribbean. We're going to be talking about something that a lot more people care about. Star Wars. See, I love the prequels. I love the original trilogy from both like a storytelling perspective as well as a real world perspective with the amount of specialized props that they used and the special effects. Amazing. Perfect casting, everything. Perfect political commentary, perfect action, everything. The sequels, though, those sucked. And I was at the prime age that they were marketing towards when these came out. It came out 11 years ago. I was like 12, 13. I should have loved them. They were horrendous. The only flaws that I really saw with the prequels were like Jar Jar Binks, and the like Newt Gunray. I didn't really like the caricatures or any like implications like that, and some of the humor was a little dry. But after The Phantom Menace, they kind of moved on from that. These sequels, it's like they didn't even watch Star Wars before they started writing them. Trying to kill his nephew because he saw a slight amount of the dark side in him, as if he hadn't just saved his father who had been evil for like 25 years because he saw good in him. Right. Han Solo just not really being a character, even though he was probably one of the better characters. And you can tell that was just because Harrison Ford didn't really want to be involved. Can't blame the guy. And not using Princess Leia enough. She was kind of like a driving force, if not the main driving force in the original trilogy. When they were all trapped in the prison block, she was the one that actually got them out. When Vader was interrogating her about the secrets, she lied to his face, knowing that she would die. She was the one that had to watch Alderaan be blown up. Everyone else showed up to an asteroid field. And then in these movies, they just have her sit there. And then have her little, like, Mary Poppins moment, and then die. Which, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. I know that they couldn't have filmed the full production, but they could have done something. Chewbacca just was there so that they could keep selling Lego sets with him in them. The new characters... Finn had an amazing potential, a stormtrooper that becomes a Jedi. They just didn't. They didn't do anything. And Rey... really good potential in being a nobody, and then she became Rey Palpatine for some reason, and then chose to be Rey Skywalker. No, that's not just something you can do. And Poe had the potential to be the best pilot in the galaxy, had the potential to be an Andor-like troubled figure, and then they had him make Yo Mama jokes. So... today, we're going to be talking about how I would rewrite the Star Wars sequels as an actual love letter to them, not as a cash grab with no actual set direction or creative vision in mind. The Mandalorian won't be in this because he was introduced after those final movies, although really good place to put him in, him and Grogu. So if you guys want to add anything to this, add any ideas, leave them down in the comments, and I'll just get right into it. Star Wars. A universe once bathed in hope, now shrouded in shadows. The Force, once a beacon of light, flickers faintly. Doubted, weakened, almost lost. The galaxy's faith has dwindled, crushed under the weight of tyranny, betrayal, and despair. But amid the darkness, a flicker remains. A dream of redemption. This is a story where Luke Skywalker, battered but unbroken, succeeded in rebuilding the Jedi Order. A tale where heroes sacrifice everything, where hope persists against all odds. No Palpatine returns, no endless cycles of conflict. Just the true heroes, fighting their own battles, forging a future from the ashes of their past. Decades after the fall of the Empire, the galaxy lies fractured. The New Republic struggles, riddled with pre-existing corruption and new complacency. The Jedi are gone, their once glorious order reduced to myth or even memory. People have lost most knowledge of the Force, believing it to be a relic of a forgotten age, an artifact of legends, not reality. The Empire's dark shadow still lingers, not through Imperial banners, but through the scars that are left behind. The Empire's ideology slowly seeped into the galaxy's core, poisoning minds and corrupting institutions. The Force was dismissed as superstition. Only a few remember the lineage of the Jedi. Grandmaster Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, and most recently, Luke Skywalker, all guardians of a dying light. And in the depths of this chaos, Luke Skywalker, once a farm boy, now reduced to a legend, sought to rebuild what was lost. But he knew that faith must be restored, not just through training, but through sacrifice. Luke's vision was different. He understood that the Jedi could not be rebuilt by mere doctrine or tradition. The Force must be felt again, deeply, personally, and he sought out those who still believed. Luke knew that to restore faith, he needed to forge a new order, one rooted in humility, sacrifice, and understanding. The Jedi were no longer warriors of dogma, but guardians of hope and resilience. The old Jedi codes had to be rewritten, more flexible, compassionate, and humane. But darkness never sleeps. From the shadows rises Darth Talon, an apprentice of Luke's who succumbed to the dark side. She was seduced by power, her mind twisted by her own ambitions. She's cunning, ruthless, and believes that the galaxy must be ruled by strength, by fear, through the power afforded to her by the dark side. Her apprentice is Ben Solo, once a promising Jedi, now her lapdog. She manipulates him, feeding his anger, whispering promises of control and revenge. The galaxy's hope hinges on his wavering soul. We would start with a little flashback sequence. In a dark chamber in Luke's new temple, Ben Solo confronts Talon. Luke limits your potential. He's holding you back, just like he did to your grandfather. Join me. Together we can reshape the galaxy, like he never had the strength to. He had the entire empire in the palm of his hand. All he had to do was strike down Darth Sidious. But he didn't. He was weak. I won't be a pawn. For you or my uncle. You're more than what Luke has made you. Embrace your true power. And Kylo, torn but tempted, steps towards her, choosing darkness. Darth Talon's goal is clear: to extinguish the last embers of hope, to crush the fledgling Jedi Order before it can ignite into a flame powerful enough to challenge her. She knows the remnants of the scrambled empire are just awaiting leadership. All she needs to do is act. In this new saga, the galaxy's salvation depends on a fragile alliance of Luke's Jedi, Finn's growing Force sensitivity, Rey's resilience, and the lingering hope of those who refuse to surrender faith. And in the face of darkness, heroes rise. Heroes who understand that sometimes saving others means sacrificing themselves. Poe would be more seasoned than the other Resistance fighters. He would become a leader, resourceful, daring, and selfless to a fault. Finn's journey mirrors Hope's rebirth, once a stormtrooper, now a Force-sensitive warrior fighting for a better galaxy. And Rey, she faces her own trials, learning to trust herself, embracing her role as a symbol for the Resistance without the burden of destiny or legacy. She struggles with her identity, Finn finds his strength, and Poe's leadership inspires others. So after the flashback sequence of Ben Solo and Talon, we would cut straight to a dusty scrapyard on a remote planet. And it would start out fairly similar to A Force Awakens, except this time, BB-8 is Rey's droid. It's her only friend in the world. We cut down to Rey, scruffy and dirt-streaked. She sorts through junk, repairing a broken moisture collector with her companion droid BB-8. No one's coming to save me. I guess I gotta do this myself. She looks up at the twin suns, eyes filled with quiet determination, as a first-order supply ship lands at the nearest outpost. This ship is carrying FN-2187, a shipment jockey who's about to be assigned to the front lines despite his request to his superiors. For the first time, she might just be able to leave this rock. I know it's not a good idea, but do you have any better ones? Okay, well, how about we try those ones next? She then runs towards the supply shuttle to stow away on board, BB-8 following her reluctantly. She isn't destined for greatness because a prophecy foretold it. She's just a girl. And like Luke, she's a nobody, showing that anyone, regardless of origin, can stand against injustice. And then we would cut to when the ship takes off, from her planet, lands on a different one, to a ruined city on a planet occupied by the First Order. Fires burn in the distance. Civilians flee in chaos. Finn, battered and bloodied, stumbled through the debris, his face contorted with horror as he witnesses a squad of stormtroopers slaughtering civilians, families, children, the elderly, without mercy. This isn't justice. It's murder. The stormtroopers turn their blasters on him, but Finn raises his weapon defensively. A commanding officer barks orders, but Finn's gaze is fixed, his heart breaking. Stop! This has to end! He lowers his blaster. I can't do this anymore. I won't be a part of this cruelty. The other stormtroopers fire at him, but their blaster bolts freeze midair. Finn looks up puzzled. He should be dead. Finn turns and runs, tears streaming down his face as the civilian screams echo behind him. Finn escapes into the wild, hiding in the shadows, haunted by what just happened. And then we would cut to another part of the planet on a war-torn battlefield. Resistance fighters are rallying around Poe, who stands at the forefront commanding troops. We fight for every system, every life. We've been at this since we were kids. No retreat, no surrender. We fight to the end of the line, because freedom never dies. He fires his blaster with precision, adrenaline masking his inner coldness. He's fought since childhood, hardened by endless war. But in his heart, he's missing something. Compassion, understanding, the very thing that makes a hero truly great. He sees something rustling near the tree line. It's FN-2187 pleading for asylum. After Finn's been captured by Poe, he's about to be executed for being an Imperial spy. But Rey runs out of the trees with BB-8. Don't! He's different. I've seen it. And who are you? I'm Rey. Rey. Just Rey. Look, I've seen the cruelty that these bucketheads are capable of, and he's not like them. I've seen him do things that I thought only happen in stories. Do you really expect me to believe that you saw a stormtrooper using the Force? Yeah. Shoot her too. Then BB-8 plays a hologram of Finn stopping the blaster bolts. Well, I stand corrected. What did you say your name was again? FN-2187? No. That's not a name. That's a number. I thought you ran away because you wanted to be something more than a number. Well, here, you are. How about Finn? I like it. Beep, beep, beep. Finn smiles because for the first time in his life, he feels like he belongs. Welcome to the Resistance, Finn. It only gets harder from here. Let's call General Skywalker and get you out of that uniform before someone else shoots you. Finn's smile fades as the others start to grin at his quick change of disposition, so Poe gives him his coat as reassurance. After the trio is assembled, Luke invites them to his temple on a planet hidden away from all star maps. And then we would have a montage of him training Finn in lightsaber combat and using the Force. He would teach Poe to trust in something bigger than himself, and he would help Rey learn that anyone can make a difference. So they tell him about the Sith acolytes that his old students are assembling, the restructuring of the Empire into the First Order, and the development of Starkiller Base. We would keep some pieces from the sequel, like they had a solid framework, but the house just looked terrible after it was built. So Luke would reply with, Sith ideology ruling over governments, recruits in suits who can't shoot, and a weapon that can blow up planets. That sounds familiar. So he develops a plan to face his Padawans alone while the new trio take on the First Order, but not without a little help from his friends. He reaches out to Han and his sister Leia. Luke apologizes for what happened to their son while he was training him, but swears to set things right. He asks Leia to prepare a speech, since most of the galaxy is unaware of the conflict happening right under their noses, and asks Han, the man he trusts most in the galaxy, to see if he can do anything about the base. Han calls in every favor he still has with the scum of the underworld, and collects an obscene amount of seismic charges and spice in the Millennium Falcon. We would also see Luke reaching out to other people through the Force, so this is when we would cut to a secret chamber deep within the ruins of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. We see Mace Windu, scarred but resolute, meditating silently. Suddenly, a ripple in the Force. Luke's voice echoes, Master Windu, I need your help. Windu's eyes snap open, one of them blinded by his encounter with Sidious and his newest apprentice, Vader. He looks around, knowing it's time to emerge from hiding. A red kyber crystal floats before him. He wraps his hand around it and clears his mind. The color in the dark temple catacombs changes from a burning crimson to a more royal hue. He picks up Palpatine's lightsaber, which he had lost during their last confrontation, and places the forgiven crystal inside, and ignites it. A purple blade emerges. The Force has called me back. The Jedi must rise again. The galaxy depends on it. We would then cut to a lush planet with a lone figure atop a mountain gazing at the stars. Ahsoka Tano, older, wiser, her face marked by time. She's what Grandmaster Luke referred to as a great Jedi, neither a Jedi nor Sith, doing what she can, fighting for balance, a spectral guardian of hope, but not limited by the ideals of her masters. Few believe she's real anymore. The galaxy whispers about her, an elusive myth, a ghost in the shadows, a goodwill in a bad galaxy. She has been summoned, along with all Jedi who keep themselves open to the Force. Master Windu, Cal Kestis, Ezra Bridger, and now Finn. We would then show Luke flying off from his little Jedi temple on his private planet and landing on Mustafar. It would be the first time that he's ever been there. In Darth Vader's decaying castle on Mustafar, Luke walks in calmly, unarmed. Once, my father found comfort in this place. It fueled his anger. He used it as a conduit for his rage, an attempt to relieve his pain. Darth Talon rises from her throne with a fury of attacks, Kylo Ren kneeling at her side, his eyes hidden in shame. Luke, in a defensive stance, dodges her strikes. Like he was doing with Kylo in The Last Jedi. That was like a decent scene until he was like a Force projection. Like, good framework, shitty looking house. So Luke continues. But you use this place to hide, to watch the galaxy burn while you sit and wait, because ruling over ashes is easier than tending a garden. You're a fool if you think you can defeat us. I'm not here to defeat you. Defeat implies victory, and there is no victory in killing. He raises a hand, grabbing her lightsaber blade like the father did to Anakin on Mortis. The blade forcefully retracts into the hilt as Luke's presence shakes the whole room. You seek strength, but true strength lies in restraint. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could ever imagine. He releases her weapon gently, letting her stumble back, a faint smile on his face as fear washes over hers. Ren, my apprentice, it's time for your final test. Prove your loyalty to me, to the Sith. You must fulfill the rule of two. Strike down your old master. You're weak, old man. You're afraid of what's coming. It's nothing I haven't seen before. I'm not afraid. I haven't been afraid for a long time. Not since you left with her that night. I think you were afraid. You are afraid. You sought power because you feared weakness. And I never got to teach you that power without control is chaos. It destroys all that it touches. You're wrong. You're just delaying the inevitable. No. I'm choosing to protect what matters. Peace. That's the path of a Jedi. You focus on their flaws, but ignore their wisdom. But they knew. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. And it is a peacekeeper's job to relieve suffering. Kylo hasn't been able to hit Luke once. He's tired. His hatred wanes, and he looks up at his childhood hero. And that's why we followed you, Luke. Because you showed us love in a cruel galaxy. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Let me help you. Kylo then stabs Luke, but he didn't ignite his lightsaber. It was Talon sitting on Vader's throne. Luke smiles and walks further down the blade to give his nephew a hug. See you around, kid. He then fades and becomes one with the Force. Kylo has tears streaming down his face. His irises change to a vibrant orange. His anger reignited, but no longer against the Jedi. He now has a new master to kill. And reinforcements arrive only moments too late. Long enough for the two to relish in the death of the fabled Grand Master Luke Skywalker, the only man to ever move black holes with the Force. Darth Talon, Kylo, and the Sith acolytes now face off against Ahsoka, Mace, Ezra, Cal, and Finn. Rey, Poe, and other notable side characters are on the battlefield. Mace and Ahsoka hold Darth Talon back with their proficiency in the Force, allowing the others to defeat Kylo and kill the Sith acolytes. Kylo then rises with a powerful Force scream and suspends all of the heroes in the air. Talon walks over to him and pats him on the shoulder. Very good, my apprentice. Use your anger. Fulfill your destiny. The heroes fall to the ground, with Darth Talon confused. Ben Solo's lightsaber ignites and clashes with his master's. I've seen what destiny has done to my family. I won't share the same fate. His crackling red saber fades to a bright gold over the course of the fight. Run! A fight ensues between Ben and Talon, and the rest leave to return to their ship. All but Mace Windu. Cal cries out, Mace! I can't just run away. Not after Order 66. The last time I fought a Sith Lord, I failed, and I won't let it happen again. I owe it to the friends that I couldn't save all those years ago. Ezra says to him, May the Force be with you. Ahsoka runs over and gives him a hug. Goodbye, Master Windu. You know, I don't think I've ever seen you cry before, Snips. Ahsoka chuckles, and her friend wipes away her tears with his remaining hand. He's never called her that before. Mace and Ben fight against Darth Talon, literally bringing the Sith castle down on top of them, destroying the last remnants of the Sith on the same planet where Obi-Wan spared his brother. We would then cut to Starkiller Base, the newest massive superweapon threatening the galaxy. Han Solo, piloting the Millennium Falcon, approaches with his makeshift bomb. We would then cut to the very end of a conversation that Han and Leia were having, where Han would say, I love you. And Leia, talking into R2-D2, I know. The signal then gives out in a similar way to her recording in A New Hope. And then we would cut to Han grinning, dodging, blaster bolts. Never underestimate an old Corellian. Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs. You think we can do this one in less than 10 3PO? But sir, you told me. I know what I said, but that was a long time ago. Just humor me, will ya? Well, Captain Solo, with the amount of explosives on board, I believe our odds of success are 100%. I don't believe I've ever said that before. Oh, how exciting. And I must say, it has been a pleasure being able to call you all my friends. I do hope R2 does all right without me. He's always getting into trouble, you know. Now Chewbacca with gray streaked hair. Brrr. Couldn't have said it better myself, buddy. Yahoo! Same thing that he does in A New Hope. He then flies directly into the core. The charges erupt, imploding the planet on itself. Han's sacrifice is heroic, a kamikaze run that saves countless lives. And it's one last present for his wife, payback for them blowing up Alderaan. His selflessness, that very few seldom ever had the privilege of seeing, ensures the galaxy's future. With Darth Talon and the First Order defeated, the galaxy begins to heal. The Jedi are reborn, humble, compassionate, and resilient. The Force once again flows through those who believe, not because of their power, but because of their belief in a better tomorrow. Luke's dream is realized, not through resurrecting the ways of the past, but through faith, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. The galaxy is reborn, not perfect, but alive with the possibility of redemption. And this would be the last scene in the entire trilogy. This would be the bookend. We would cut to the Senate Hall, where Leia prepares to give a rousing speech to rally all systems to peace. Her face then hardens with grief. She senses a disturbance. Her brother and son have become one with the Force, and Han, Chewie, and 3PO have died. Starkiller Base and Vader's castle have been destroyed. For the first time in her life, she knows that they've won. Suddenly, bounty hunters Boba Fett, Cad Bane, and Embo breach the room. Captain Rex dives to shield her. Get out of here, milady! He takes down Cad Bane, but not before receiving a fatal shot to his chest. Embo escapes, knowing that he won't get paid after the collapse of the First Order. The bounty hunters are defeated, but Leia has been poisoned with Dioxis by none other than Boba Fett, before he was apprehended by the Senate guards. She knows that she must deliver her speech in her dying moments. She's now filled with resolve, knowing that she is what lies between the galaxy that marches forward bravely, or one that recedes back into its conflicted ways. For the first time, she gets visions of her mother Padme, the person whom she got her tenacity from, where she got the courage to speak for those with no voice. She bends over and starts the holo recording on R2-D2, giving him a hug. Thank you, old friend. None of this would have happened if it weren't for you. You truly are the bravest droid in the galaxy. And then she starts her speech. Citizens of the New Republic, people of every system, beings of every species and creed, today we stand united at a pivotal moment in our history. We gather here not to reflect, but to reaffirm our collective resolve, a resolve forged through centuries of struggle, sacrifice, and hope. Decades ago, our galaxy was engulfed in darkness. The oppressive shadow of the Empire stretched across star systems, crushing worlds and silencing voices. We saw planets turned to rubble, families torn apart, entire peaceful civilizations wiped out in the name of tyranny. But even in that darkness, a spark remained, faint but persistent. It was the courage of those who refused to bow, those who dared to believe in freedom, in justice, in a future beyond fear, that ignited that spark into a flame. The Rebel Alliance, the brave souls who fought in the shadows, who endured loss and heartbreak, they reminded us that hope is never truly lost, even when all seems lost. And so, the Empire fell. The galaxy rejoiced, and for a time it seemed that peace was within our grasp. But peace is fragile. Like a delicate flame, it must be tended, nurtured, and protected. The scars of war lingered. Remnants of darkness still lurked in hidden corners. The scars of betrayal, my father's tyranny, the Emperor's twisted rule, that fear remained deep within us all. From the ashes rose the new republic, built on the ideals of democracy, freedom, and unity. We fought to forge a future where no one would suffer as we once did. We vowed to learn from the past, to build a galaxy where hope would be a guiding light, not just a fleeting dream. Yet, as history has shown us, the darkness never sleeps. It mutates, disguises itself, waiting for moments of weakness. The First Order arose from the remnants of the Empire, an organization built on fear, hatred, and the desire for control. They sought to undo the progress we made, an insidious threat that tried to plunge us back into chaos. We've destroyed Starkiller Base, a weapon capable of destroying entire star systems in moments. We've seen our friends fall. My dear friend Rex here more than most. Raised in a lab, bred for war, he's shown my family nothing but kindness. He served under my father during the Clone Wars, wars where his brothers were slaughtered because we were too blind to see that we were being deceived, where they were used to wipe out the Jedi against their wills. He resisted. He fought alongside Captain Solo and I on the Battle of Endor. He served as my head of security and most trusted advisor ever since. He taught me one thing that I value above all else. In the face of overwhelming darkness, we must unite. We have to fight with everything we have. The next generation has already embraced this. Why can't we? FN-2187, a simple stormtrooper, found within himself the strength to abandon the tyranny he was born into, choosing to fight for justice and the galaxy's future. Rey, a symbol that anyone can rise, no matter their origins, to challenge evil. And Poe, a veteran of countless fights, is well prepared to lead a pacifistic galaxy, because he never wants to set foot on a battlefield again. And my brother, Luke Skywalker, once thought lost, betrayed, broken. He reminds us that real strength lies in resisting the temptation of revenge. He's shown us that sometimes the greatest act of courage is to show compassion. Throughout our history, the galaxy has been troubled by wars, by betrayal, by the relentless pursuit of power. But each time we fell, we rose again, more determined. We learned that resilience isn't just about surviving. It's about continuing to hope when hope seems distant. It's about fighting for a future where our children can grow up in peace, where the lights of our stars shine brighter than the shadows that threaten to engulf us. Today, I stand before you to remind everyone, every system, every individual, that hope is more than a word. It's a force that resides within each of us. It guides us. It binds us all together. It's the spark that ignites change. It's the flame that no darkness can completely extinguish. We have come far, but our journey is far from over. There will always be new threats, new challenges. There will be times when despair whispers in our ears, urging us to surrender. But remember, the galaxy's greatest strength is its people. Our resilience, our unity, our unwavering belief in each other. Let us honor those who have fallen, the brave, the noble, the selfless, by continuing their fight. They are the foundation upon which we will build our new republic. We owe it to them, and to ourselves, to carry that torch forward. We are the heirs of yesterday's messes, but we are also the architects of tomorrow. The galaxy's destiny is not written in stone. It's shaped by us, by our choices, our courage, our compassion. We can choose peace over violence, understanding over hatred, and unity over division. Let us be bold, let us be resilient, and let us remember that even in the darkest times, the light within each of us can shine brighter than any star. So now I declare these Star Wars have ended. May the Force be with us all. And then Leia would collapse onto the ground, and it would be a montage of every planet celebrating. Very, very similar to like in the Ewok village and Naboo and things like that. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Tell me, what do you think should have happened in the prequels? Were you fine with what Disney did with Snoke and Captain Phasma and Rose and the whole somehow Palpatine returned? Like, that is the dumbest line in almost any movie, because it's been well established that cloning technology and magic both exist. But whatever. Or if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see in the future, drop them down below. We may just talk about it. Peace.